I spent weeks analyzing every budget Samsung phone you can buy in 2025, digging through expert tests, performance data, verified reviews, and thousands of user experiences. And what I found? One of Samsung's cheapest phones is shockingly good. While others look great on paper, but fall apart in real life, if you're trying to get the most value under $500, this list will save you from making a big mistake. Before we dive in, I've included updated prices and full specs for all the models in the description below. Check them out if you want the best current deals. Let's start with our number 5 pick, and honestly, this one broke my heart a little. The Galaxy A16 5G is Samsung's entry-level attempt at giving you flagship features for just $200, and on paper, it looks incredible. You get a massive 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display with 90Hz refresh rate, 5G connectivity, and here's the kicker, 6 years of software updates. That's longer support than some $1,000 phones. But here's where reality hits hard. The moment you try to do anything beyond basic calls and texting, this phone shows its limitations. The 4GB RAM variant, which is what most people will buy at this price point, struggles with multitasking. I watched apps reload constantly and don't even think about gaming. One user on Best Buy perfectly captured it. Simple, lightweight, and good for everyday activities, but occasional glitches. The camera is another story entirely. In good lighting, you'll get decent shots from that 50-megapixel main camera. But the moment the sun goes down, forget about it. The ultra-wide and macro cameras are basically there for marketing purposes. And here's something Samsung doesn't advertise. You can't even record 4K video on this thing. Battery life is actually solid though. That 5,000 mAh battery will easily get you through a full day, sometimes stretching to a day and a half with light use. The problem? It charges at a painfully slow 15 watts. Plan on leaving this plugged in overnight. Who should buy the A16 5G? Honestly, if you just need a phone for calls, messages, social media scrolling, and you absolutely cannot spend more than $200, this will do the job. That AMOLED display really is beautiful for the price, and those software updates mean it won't become obsolete in 2 years like cheaper alternatives. But if you can stretch your budget even slightly, keep watching, because our next pick changes everything. Now we're getting somewhere. The Galaxy A26 5G takes everything good about the A16 and fixes most of the problems. For about $100 more, you get a proper 120Hz display that's buttery smooth, 25-watt charging that's nearly double the speed. And here's the big one, IP67 water resistance. That means you can actually use this phone around water without panicking. The performance jump is noticeable too. With 6GB of RAM as standard and the Exynos 1380 chipset, multitasking actually works. Apps stay open, switching between them is smooth, and light gaming is totally doable. I spent a week using this as my daily driver, and honestly, it felt like a phone that cost twice as much. The camera system gets some real improvements here. That ultra-wide lens jumps to 8 megapixels, and while it's still not winning any photography awards, it's actually usable for group shots and landscapes. The main camera produces sharp, vibrant photos in daylight, though low-light performance is still just okay. But here's what really impressed me, the build quality. This doesn't feel like a $300 phone. The back is still plastic, sure, but it's well-done plastic with a premium finish, and that IP67 rating gives you real peace of mind. The downsides? Some users report heating issues during heavy use, and Samsung's bloatware is definitely present. You'll spend some time uninstalling apps you'll never use, but overall, this hits a sweet spot between price and features that's hard to argue with. The A26 5G is perfect for people who want a reliable daily driver without flagship pricing. If you stream videos, use social media, take photos occasionally, and want something that'll last, this is a solid choice. Here's where things get interesting. The Galaxy A36 is basically Samsung asking, what if we took the A26 and made it better in every way that matters? And honestly, they mostly succeeded. The standout feature here is 45-watt fast charging. I timed it myself. This thing goes from dead to 50% in about 20 minutes. For a budget phone, that's honestly incredible. Most flagship phones don't charge this fast. Combined with that same reliable 5,000 mAh battery, you're looking at a phone that you can top up during a coffee break and use all day. You also get more RAM options, including a 12GB variant that's perfect if you're someone who keeps 50 apps open at once. The Exynos 1380 chipset handles everything you throw at it for daily use, though it still struggles with high-end gaming. But here's my issue with the A36, and why it's sitting at number 3 despite being a great phone. The camera system is basically identical to the A26. Same 50 megapixel main sensor, same 8 megapixel ultra wide, same limitations in low light. For $100 more, I expected Samsung to step up the photography game, but they just didn't. The build quality is excellent though. You get the same IP67 rating, the same gorgeous 120Hz AMOLED display, and everything feels solid and premium. This is a phone you could easily mistake for something much more expensive. To sum it up, if fast charging is important to you, or if you're a heavy multitasker who needs extra RAM, this is your phone. The 45-watt charging alone might be worth the upgrade for some people, but if cameras matter to you, keep listening, because our next two phones finally address that issue. Our runner-up actually costs less than the A36. The Galaxy A35 5G is what happens when Samsung gets the balance just right. It's not trying to be everything to everyone. It just focuses on doing the important things really, really well. Let's talk about that battery life, because it's genuinely impressive. In my testing, this thing consistently lasted nearly 2 full days of moderate use. We're talking about battery performance that matches phones costing twice as much. One test I ran left it with 65% battery after a full day of intensive use. That's flagship level endurance. The 6.6-inch Super AMOLED display is slightly smaller than the others, but honestly, I didn't miss those extra 0.1 inches. It's still gorgeous, still 120Hz smooth, and the size makes the phone more comfortable to hold and use one-handed. Here's what really impressed me though, the build quality. You get Gorilla Glass Victus Plus protection, which is seriously tough stuff. I'm usually paranoid about dropping phones, but the A35 felt confident in my hands. That IP67 rating is still here, so water and dust aren't concerns either. The camera system is the same setup we've seen before, and honestly, that's fine. For daylight photos, it produces sharp, colorful images that look great on social media. The ultra-wide is decent for landscapes. It's not going to replace a dedicated camera, but for most people's needs, it gets the job done. Performance is smooth for everything except intensive gaming. The Exynos 1380 handles daily tasks without breaking a sweat, and with 6 to 8 gigabytes of RAM, multitasking is genuinely pleasant. The A35 5G is perfect for people who want a phone that just works reliably day after day. If you prioritize battery life, build quality, and overall dependability over having the latest and greatest specs, this could be your perfect match. So, why isn't it number one? Well, our top pick does something that none of these others quite manage. And here we are. The Galaxy A56 5G takes the crown. And honestly, it wasn't even close. This phone does something remarkable. It delivers an experience that's genuinely close to Samsung's flagship phones, but for half the price. The Exynos 1480 chipset is the secret sauce here. This thing is fast. Not just good for a budget phone fast, legitimately fast. It handles everything I threw at it, including some pretty demanding games without breaking a sweat. The performance gap between this and Samsung's S-series phones is surprisingly small. But it's not just about raw power. That 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera is a real game changer. Finally, we have an ultra-wide lens that produces photos you'd actually want to share. The main 50-megapixel camera benefits from better processing too, delivering consistently good results even in challenging lighting. The build quality is where Samsung really shows off. Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, front and back, premium materials throughout, and a design that honestly looks and feels like a much more expensive phone. You get that same excellent 120Hz AMOLED display, IP67 protection, and 45-watt fast charging. This phone doesn't feel like a compromise. With 8 to 12 gigabytes of RAM, flagship-level build quality, genuinely good cameras, and that powerful chipset, it delivers an experience that most people won't find lacking. The only real downside is that you're pushing close to $500, which puts you in competition with some really good flagship alternatives. But here's the truth. If you want that polished Samsung experience without spending $1,000, this is the phone to get. The A56 5G feels like Samsung took an S-series flagship and stripped out the luxury fluff most people never use. So who's it for? Anyone chasing a premium smartphone without the premium price tag. If you can stretch your budget to $500, the A56 5G will absolutely exceed your expectations. So there you have it. The Galaxy A56 5G takes the top spot for delivering flagship-level performance and build quality at half the flagship price. If you're looking for the best overall Samsung phone under $500, that's your answer. Don't forget to check those links in the description for the most current pricing and deals. If this helped you figure out which Samsung phone is right for you, hit that like button and drop a comment letting me know which one you're planning to grab. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.